Hey guys, welcome to part 3 of my DIY Widebody M3. Now in this video, what I'm going to be doing is shaping the driver's side fender flares. I've got the passenger side taken care of, at least for the most part, until I get the driver's side down and shaved, so that way I can start making them exactly the same on both sides. Now I'm going to do this to the best of my ability by eye, because I do not have any special software to do this. So I'm going to get started on the rears first because I think it'll be easier. Later in this video, you're going to see me start working the body filler into everything. So that's my plan, that's my overall goal for this video. I just want to reiterate again that if you have an air compressor and you're doing this at home and you're trying it out, you're using the spray foam and all that stuff, the best way to take this stuff down is with this tool right here. This is I think it's like a 60 or 80 grit, actually no, it's more than that, it's probably 40 grit. Sanding wheel on here. I'll have to double check though for you guys, but this thing is amazing and it takes down the foam incredibly fast and allows you to shape very small details. So I was able to get some of the curvature on the other side, so I think I'll be able to do a great job with this. I'm not even going to touch the fenders with the hand drywall sander. I'm just going to use this thing and take it down. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. You guys stay tuned and we'll talk in a bit. Alright, so that's the rear fender, the basic shape to it. Sorry man, there's a lot of dust around here, and even with those goggles it's still getting in my eyes. But anyways, so basic shape there. I have some ideas about how to get the right points, the right lines, so the shape is the same. I'm going to take some masking tape and I'm going to pull it across. I'm going to use the edge, so I'm going to go from that edge, so the point where the fender starts on this side, I'm going to go, well, on the other side, the one that's already shaped. I'm going to take that, bring it all the way over and make sure it's even, and bring it down to the point where it needs to go. Same thing with maybe the midpoint where the inner fender starts, and then I'll do the center of the wheel, and then I'll do like the gas tank, the next point of the inner fender, and then the end of the fender. So I'll have about 5 or 6 points where it'll come across, so that way I know I'm doing the right angle, the right arc. And then from there it's just shaping and just whittling it down until it looks the same. So I'll be able to turn the car, look at it from the back and see if it's even. That'll be the easiest way to tell, honestly. So I just had to get the basic shape here. So that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna go ahead and I've got to go to work, and then I'll come back later and probably hand sand that. And then tomorrow morning I'll do more shaping, probably shape the front fender, whittle that down quite a bit until it's close enough that I can start, I'll turn the car around and I'll do the front fenders, shape them exactly the same, and then I'll turn the car back around to the rear and I'll shape the fenders so that they're the same in the rear and the same slope and everything. So, and I'll probably do the whole tape line across. I'll do that still. Because I think that'll work. I think that'll keep me keep each fender true to the same side. Alright guys, so now we're here to work on the masking and getting the lines right on the car. So I think I said this before, I'm not sure, but anyways, what I want to do is I want to go from the other side, the fender that's pretty much already done. I want to start from the edge of where the flare starts, bring the tape line all the way across here. I want to do the same thing with the inside of the fender. I want to do the same thing with the center line, so basically where the hub is, where the center cap is. I want to do the inside of the rear part of the fender, and then I also want to do the back piece right here where that finishes up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag those lines across just to make sure I have the right points, same points on the car, and then from there really the only thing I can do is turn the car and start eyeballing it and shaping it and getting the slopes right for each flare. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that. Alright, so I was having a little bit of difficulty trying to get all the points to line up on the sides when I was pulling the tape all the way across. Just because it flexes so much, it was just giving me a lot of difficulties. So what I ended up doing was took some points, similar points on each side of the car, and I started pulling tape down from that on that side. And then over here, what I did was I did the same points, measured, and brought the tape lines down. So here is where the fender should start. So I'm going to start shaving that down and getting that to the right point. And then from there, I can start coming all the way across. And I know I need to be 2 inches down from this seam in the car right here, the body line. And then once I can do that, I think it'll be a little bit easier to figure out how to shape it. So I want to get started shaping on that one. And then from that, I'm going to start taking the bulk down on the front fender. That's pretty much it. So I'm going to go ahead and get to work. Alright guys, so I just wanted to update you and just kind of let you know what's going on. So I've done a ton of shaping over the last week. So really now it comes down to me adding body filler on top of my foam plug, essentially. So first thing I've got to do though is I want to double check that when I put the car down, everything is completed, that the fender flares aren't going to inhibit the movement of the wheels, right, when they turn. So because I'm shaping my own kit, I really have to worry about that. So what I did was I jacked up the car and put the key in, turned the wheels, and started shaving off foam. The next thing that's in my way is the factory wheel well liner. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take off the wheel. I've got to take the 2 bolts out of the bracing that's underneath the car, which basically it just the plastic liner slides in between those 2 pieces, so I have to unbolt those. I have to take off several, I think it's like 8 or 10 8mm bolts, and then there's 1 nut in there. But anyways, I have to take off the OEM liner so that way I can be able to turn the wheels, and I could even drop the car down and drive it back and forth real quick just to kind of see how it looks like out there or something like that. So that's kind of my goal next, is to get the liner out and then to put the wheels back on. So that's my next goal, and I'm gonna go ahead and get to work. Alright guys, so what's going on? You just saw me cleaning up the garage, which means I am at the point now where I have completed shaping the fender flares, and now I need to add the body filler. Just to let you guys know though, there are some things that didn't go as planned, and I want to share that with you guys just so you know exactly what is going on with my build. So first of all, the diffuser, which you guys should have seen me take off in the time-lapse footage. I believe I did capture that. So anyways, I took the diffuser off because what ended up happening is during the process of me adding foam to the car, I would have to, or shaving down the car especially, I would have to add a piece of foam to like this section to make the scoop the right angle. What ended up happening would be is I would have that entire can and I would be spraying the foam in that section or in another section or in several sections, and that would be my go-to spot to add the foam, the leftover can of foam to. So it ended up building up a lot of foam there, and so what it's gonna do is it's just gonna eat away my time that I'd rather spend completing the flares. So what I'm gonna do is set that off to the side and work on it later. I keep pointing it up there because it's above me. I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but I took it off and had to get it out of the way. So it's up on top of the weight machine. So other things that didn't go as planned are the bottom sections here for the rear bumper. They ended up not being the same size, I don't think, the same amount of foam at least. So I've got to go back and I've got to measure and see what, if I can use it at all, if I can leave that piece on there. If not, I'll just rip it off and I'll do it again later, because I think the piece will look very good and I think it'll tie into the kit very, very well. But I don't need to be spending my time on something like that when I could be finishing the flares, because that's something that has to be done. If I can get the flares done, I can still drive the car without those pieces. That includes the diffuser as well. So like I said, those things are going on the back burner. Now, pretty much everything else went according to plan. There were some tricky areas like back here where the gas door is on this side, but then I had to replicate this angle right here on that side, and so it made it very difficult. But I just kept eyeballing back and forth. Honestly, I mean, I'm a perfectionist and I've been working on this for an entire week of just coming out here, grinding, shaving down, and getting the look right. And for you guys, it's time-lapse in one video, but for me, it's a lot. It's been a long time, and I just want it to look as good as like a Liberty Walk or an RWB or a Rocket Bunny kit. I want it to look that professional and that clean. And so if I can get it as close to that as possible and people can kind of look at it and be like, wow, that looks amazing, that's my goal. And if I get that accomplished, I'll be extremely happy. And I'm just gonna keep making better kits if this one turns out well, and quite honestly, if this one doesn't turn out well, I'm gonna do it all over again, because I really do want to get it right. I want a wide body kit for my car that looks amazing, and so it's gotta work. Anyways, so for the next piece of this is I've got to start adding the body filler to the flares, to the foam. Now, I'll be honest, I'm a little bit nervous about this, just because at this point, what that means is I've completed the shapes. I've completed my initial edges and angles and distances away from the body of the car, and without going insane and checking everything 10 million times, you know, I just have to go for it, which is very, I mean, it's elite for me. Basically, I have to, you know, kind of throw myself over that hurdle and just say, okay, I gotta finally just add the body filler and start sanding. So that's my next step. I've got to get it done. So I'm gonna start mixing the body filler, start adding it to the flares, and then afterwards, I'm gonna go back in, and that's when I'm gonna add the holes for the rivets. Actually, I really don't even want to use rivets. I want to use the Downstar hardware that TJ Hunt used in his wide body kit on his BRZ. I think it'll look really good, really clean. And so what I'm going to end up doing is, like I said, add body filler first, then go back in. I'll have a harder surface to work with, and probably take a Dremel tool or maybe like a punch or something like that, and just start adding the different pieces in. I'm gonna go ahead and count before I get started though, and order them tonight, basically, so that way they're here hopefully by the end of this week. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on adding the body filler to my flares. Alright guys, well that is going to do it for part 3. I've got all the body filler on all 4 of the fenders, and so what I've got to do now is I've got to go through and I've got to sand each and every one of them to get them smooth. So that's kind of my next process in the next video. Now if you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up, and also if you have any comments or questions, you can leave those down below. The last and final thing is if you guys are interested in seeing more videos like this one and staying up to date with what's going on with the build, you guys can always subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you stick around. I'd really appreciate it. And for all of those of you that have stuck around and have already subscribed, thank you guys so much, and I really appreciate the support. You guys, I will see you in the next video. Have an awesome day.